What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Clippers are absolutely cooked, right? Another year, another same result, losing in the first or second round. Every year, it's like there's all this hype and excitement that the Clippers are going to do something. They go and get James Harden. It's like, oh, there's a missing piece. There's the real playmaker the Clippers have been lacking, right? And there was this stretch where they looked like game busters, right? They looked like the best team in the league, and people are super hyped and super stoked, and it's like, oh man, this is going to be their year, and then they're going to go in a new stadium, and it's just going to, and ultimately just another dud. But the problem is that the Clippers just, in a lot of ways, just keep doing this to themselves. You give Kawhi Leonard a new max when that was always going to be on the table regardless, but you rush to go do that. Now you put yourself in a position to where it's like, okay, Kawhi once again is a no-show and can't play in the playoffs because of injuries, right? He's an incredible talent. He's an incredible, one of the best when he's healthy and on, one of the best two-ways guys in the league, true star. I mean, the guy is everything you want if he's healthy. Problem is he's never healthy, and he load manages all year, and he does, and it's just, I just don't see this being a formula of success for the Los Angeles Clippers going forward. Like, what's going to change that it hasn't already been the same, right? It's literally the definition of insanity. Doing something over and over and over again, expecting a different result. You're not going to get a different result from the Clippers, right? And, Paul George, more likely than not, he's gone. The Clippers keep giving these contract offers to Paul George, none of which are max contracts, and he keeps rejecting them because he wants a max, which, if he could go to a team like Philadelphia and get a max, right? Like, they can pay him that. So why would he take a discount to be on the Clippers when you already tried to trade him, right? He's kind of the guy that's going to end up being the odd man out regardless, right? It's just doesn't make any sense for the Clippers. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to get rid of Paul George. Okay, fine, right? I mean, Paul George has had his questions and his issues and his injury concerns, right? And him at times being a no-show in the playoffs, which is always a big thing. But he's also not your number one option, and he's not supposed to be, because your number one option is supposed to be Kawhi Leonard. But your number one option never shows up to the party. The best ability is availability. And so Paul George is going to go to a team, which I do think Philadelphia makes the most sense for him. I do think that would be a perfect spot for him because he can basically, on any given night, be the two guy. But, in reality, with Maxey and Embiid would essentially be the third guy, which I think is his best role. And he's an incredible, like when he's on, he's up there with the best of them. Excellent two-way guy. One of the more underrated guys in this league. But it's just, like with the Clippers, it's like, what is your plan? And I know Steve Ballmer, he's a passionate owner. He wants to win, right? He wanted to get out of Lakers' shadow, so he goes and builds this new arena. And I get you want the star power for the arena, but guess what? Eventually, people are going to stop caring. At some point, it just becomes names on the back of the jersey when you don't win and you don't do anything. And you're a first or second round exit every year, right? They've been to one conference finals in their entire franchise. And it's just, yes, the first year in the new arena, you could have a bunch of randoms playing and you'd probably have success in the new arena because it's a new arena, right? All the fans that are fans of the Clippers are going to go to that arena. And then all the people that aren't necessarily fans of the Clippers, but are just, curious to see the new arena. Like, I want to go see the new arena and I ain't a Clipper fan, right? So to me, it's just, I don't understand what the plan here is other than just like, hey, let's have the stars for the new arena. It's kind of where it boils down to me. And it's just, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, I don't think you're winning with them, right? Assuming Paul George leaves, right? Whether Clippers trade him, work out some type of trade, or they end up, just letting him walk, whatever ends up happening, right? But to me, it's like, okay, now you have James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. You're still having just as bad, if not more of an issue, because James Harden, he is a complete no-show at times. Like, you even saw it in the most recent stint, right? Like, he just completely disappears. Like, at this point, he might just need to be just a playmaker and be like your third or fourth option, right? Depending on who your two top guys are, right? And then, you look at a team like James Harden on, if Phoenix had James Harden instead of Bradley Beal, I actually think that could have some success, right? Because James Harden can play the point guard position because that's one of the big problems that Phoenix has, right? But Clippers aren't going to want Bradley Beal, so that doesn't really make any sense for them. But just kind of a thought of a situation in which would be best for a guy like James Harden is my point. It's where I'm getting at with this. But again, if you're the Clippers, okay, James Harden once again is going to be a no-show in the playoffs, and then when you get to the playoffs, he may end up being the only guy because Kawhi Leonard can't stay healthy. Now, if you have a healthy Paul George and a healthy Kawhi Leonard and the right pieces around them, could they make some noise? You get the proper first-round matchup, or you get a couple dominoes to fall your way, right? Assuming Kawhi Leonard can be Kawhi Leonard and James Harden isn't just a complete, disappearing act. Right? Could you win a round or two? Sure, but I think that's it. I think you're a perennial first or second round exit. Every year, I think it's just going to be more of the same. Every year, just going to be a first or second round exit that is hoping to maybe, have a stint or a run where a couple things just kind of fall in your favor, fall in your lap, and maybe you could pull. I just don't have a lot of faith, hope, and belief in the Clippers going forward. I think this is the end of an era. I do. I think this is the end of an era. I think Paul George, I don't think you can just let him go. I think you try to figure out, hey, where do you want to go? And we'll trade you there. Pick a destination. What do you really want to go to Philly? Right? Or is there another team that you have in mind? Whoever it is. You figure it out. The Knicks, right? Maybe you work something out with the Knicks. And, you could send Paul George to the Knicks. Right? I don't know. You can't just lose Paul George. You have no assets. You have no future. At some point, you're going to be right back to being the same old Clippers that were the worst team in the league that, eventually even Kawhi and James Harden, they're going to end up phasing out. At some point, they're going to be non-existent. And it's just, this is the end of an era, right? Keep Russell Westbrook off the bench, fine. Keep James Harden, keep Kawhi. Try to trade Paul George. I think ultimately, you get into the season, and I think you get to the trade deadline, and I think we're going to start hearing a lot of talk about Kawhi Leonard potentially being traded. And if I was the Clippers, I would look to trade Kawhi Leonard. Sign him to that new contract extension, right? If it's the same old, I think you look to move Kawhi Leonard. The problem is that will Steve Ballmer do that the first year in a new arena? Right? But then that even becomes even more of a problem because it's now you're talking another year of an unhealthy Kawhi Leonard who'll be 33 next year. So now he's 33 years old, right? So now you go another year. So you're talking he'll be in year 34 with his injury history, his deteriorating knees, all that. It's just again, I don't understand outside of just solely new arena want stars to pack the arena. I don't understand the logic in giving Kawhi that insane contract and then wanting to max out Paul George. What's your hope? That maybe a full year with Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden, maybe that'll be. You had a full year. It was 7 games in or whatever it was. I think it was a little more than that. But again, how much different is it going to be? Is my point. Is my problem. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you feel a specific way about the Clippers? What are your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard? Do you think that they never should have given him that max contract? What do you think happens with Paul George? There's a lot that the Clippers are going to have to figure out, that's for sure. But I don't think that there's a bona fide for sure and that's the thing. There's the one that you needed. I'm not super sold on it personally. But again, love your thoughts, opinions, however you feel, down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.